Happy 4th of July, everybody. This is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Ultimate Avengers, a 2006 animated movie. This was part of the MAU, the Marvel Animated Universe. It was such a great movie. This predated the actual MCU, the first Iron Man movie, by 2 years. And in fact, the very first Avengers movie took a lot from this movie and stuff. It was supposed to be solely based off of this movie, with it focusing more on Captain America, it having both Hank and Janet in there, but then they decided to go against that. They was also gonna have the Hulk go crazy and like fight the Avengers and stuff. But this was shown in a deleted scene in like the first Avengers movie. And so they decided to go with something somewhat completely different, but have some of the same like elements from this movie. This is based off of the Ultimate comic book. When Marvel went Ultimate, a lot of fans weren't too happy about that because they decided to redo everything people knew about, and some of the storylines people just didn't go for, like the whole Captain America and Janet Van Dyne getting together and stuff like that. But my God, man, when I said this was a great animated movie, this was a great animated movie. There are some things that could have been stronger, like the fight scene between the aliens and the Avengers could have been better. Um, but they was mostly just saving it up for the Avengers versus like the Hulk. And when it comes to this animated movie, it mostly centers around Captain America, which the first Avengers movie was supposed to do, but Josh Whedon decided to change that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so tired. And so, like, this focuses on Captain America back to World War II in 1945. And so, it pretty much starts off, like with the American troops fighting like the German troops and stuff. And they're very, like, worried that they might not see their loved ones. And so one of them is Bucky Barnes. He's the photographer. Normally, Bucky is like Captain America's like superhero sidekick. He's just like a teenage boy, and he's his sidekick. Then, of course, he got turned into the Winter Soldier and the super serum type thing. But in this version, he's just a photographer. And he's really enthusiastic, and he loves himself some Captain America, to the point where he fanboys over him. And so I really do like this version of Cap. He's your traditional Captain America. He was the scrawny kid who wanted to be more, fight like the Germans, and protect his country. And his suit is more military based, which is kind of similar to that the first Captain America movie. Here, there is no Red Skull. Instead, it's just Kleiser, a Super Skrull. But at this time, we didn't know he was a Super Chitauri, I should say, because in this version, the Skrulls are the Chitauri, which of course were the aliens in the first Avengers movie. So after some fighting here and there, Captain America sees that the Germans have allies that are alien, which is very surprising. Next thing you know, they sent a nuke up in the air. And I really love Captain America's sacrifice in this. He hops onto the nuke and he opens it up and he throws a grenade in there, and the blast, it would cause him to fall in the ocean. And it's there he starts the monologue about how he my dear Gail. Basically he's writing like a letter to her, but like in his head. And she is his love interest in this and not Peggy Carter. I think she might have showed up in the live action movie, but a lot of people assume this one character was, but I don't think she was. I can't find no information on that. And it's really sad and heartbreaking. Here's this young guy who has a fiance and he loves her to death. part of the reason why he's fighting this war so she can live to see another day. And now he's never going to see her again. He is knocked unconscious into the water where he freezes for over 60 years. It is a very, very touching scene. However, in the Captain America movie, that scene was more touching with them talking about, going on that date and stuff like that. However, his sacrifice in that movie was a little lame. I mean, he had to stop a plane from falling on the city. Here, he stopped a nuke and everything. That's a whole lot bigger. I wish they would have went that route, but hey, whatever. And of course, Cap, they find him 60 years later. S.H.I.E.L.D. does. And Betty Ross and Nick Fury are the ones who find him. And he's literally just like an ice cube. And the reason why they've been looking for him is because they need his blood. They need to restart up the super soldiers program. Because the alien Shatars are back 60 years later. And S.H.I.E.L.D. is like trying to set up a team of like 12 candidates, one of them being Black Widow, to like take them on. However, the people running S.H.I.E.L.D., they want Project Avenger. Not a bunch of super soldiers and stuff. But Fury is against this because he doesn't want a bunch of like superhero showboaters and stuff. But they force his hand, and this is when he recruits the Avengers. Kind of similar to that of like I said, the Avengers movie. There, he was all for the Avengers and stuff. And so I do like the introduction of all the Avengers. We get Iron Man, who this Iron Man is not about like the jokes and the quips. He's more of a suave, debonair, James Bond kind of dude. And Black Widow is the one who recruits him. And what I like about this version of Black Widow is one, she has the Russian accent, and two, she is very much a spy. She is the seductress and everything. Like, she's the type of person that can slither into a room wearing a dress and you assume that, oh, she's just like another hot girl until she whips out a gun on you and stuff. That is something the MCU version of Black Widow is missing big time. In that version, she's more of like a brute soldier type person. Never really I can't talk today. A seductress and everything. Except for Iron Man 2, a little bit of that. And it really took away the charm aspect and the charisma of her. Especially also they play her as like with an American accent, which got on my nerves and stuff. But here she is very much the exotic. But of course, Iron Man doesn't want to be recruited. But here, nobody knows Tony Stark is Iron Man. And I love that. I love how he's just being Tony Stark and everything. And acting like he don't know who Iron Man is other than just being his bodyguard and stuff. And so we see Fury also recruit like the Pims and stuff. And this version of Hank is very arrogant. He's rude, he's crude, but his wife is like a delight and everything. And he was working for S.H.I.E.L.D. to try to crack the super serum program, but they later fired his behind because of like his attitude. He couldn't get along with Banner. And so like when they do recover Captain America, I don't know which version I like better. Here, when he wakes up, he's just very much pissed off and fighting everybody until Fury has to sneak in with a cloak and, like, calm him down. Well, that when he gets outside and he sees everything's a little bit different because S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters is on ground and in the ocean and stuff. But it's something I wish would have been like in the MCU. And so, like, but here, when he wakes up, he's just like in soldier mode and everything. As for the MCU, I like how he was smart enough to realize that game he saw and that this was like a ruse and stuff. And so then we get to like the other recruit, which is Banner. He already works for S.H.I.E.L.D. This Banner is interesting. He is obsessed with Captain America, a huge fanboy because he wants his blood. He wants his blood to like, be able to calm the Hulk down. Now this version of Banner, whenever he starts to hulk out, he has medicine that like suppresses his anger. I wish they would have had that for the MCU. And Betty, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, I should say, is like his assistant. And so, like, when they find Iron Man, they have to try to recruit him because they still don't know it's Stark. And they literally try to ambush his behind, only for him to like still not want to be a part. And the thing I love about this Captain America is that, his whole thing was to be the best person he could be. He was a nobody before that. And becoming like a super soldier made him a somebody with a purpose. Now, because the war has been like over with for 60 years, his purpose is over with. And he kind of sees himself as being outdated. There's no more use for him until, of course, this whole Shatari thing starts to happen. And when he finds out that his country still needs him, he's ready to get back in the saddle, man. Because, that's what he is. He is the soldier. And so, like, Fury briefs them on everything, like, how the Shatari are back and this and that. But then the one sad thing that we do learn about this Captain America is like, since 60 years has passed, he thinks his unit is still alive. But when he goes to the gravesite, well, actually, first he goes and he sees Bucky. And like, Bucky's still alive, but Bucky is now married to Gail, Steve's former girlfriend. And that's like one of the hardest things to like, go through. Like, not only could you not spend the 60 years with the woman you love, but now your best friend is married to her. And they missed out on some of the greatest like moments of their life. But he doesn't hold it against them because he realizes the circumstances. But then when he goes to the gravesite, he's just down and depressed. All of his entire unit died that same day he went under and got frozen because they died in 45, which is the year the movie was first set place in. And that's really sad because like, he really like liked those dudes and stuff. Those were like, his pals and like his fellow like brothers in arms, and they're all gone. And he wishes he could have died with them and stuff, or helped them fight so that they could live to see another day. And but like I said before, once he found out about the aliens, he's back in the saddle. So they have to go to recruit Thor. This Thor is a hippie. And people aren't sure if he's really a god or what. And so he doesn't want to join. But then once like, Captain America finds out that Bruce Banner is the Hulk and what the Hulk is, he has some concerns. And, it really upsets Banner when he has those concerns. His first task is to lead a team into like a S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters where they're supposed to stop this one super Shatari, which is, he doesn't know at this time, is Kleiser. And we don't know either until the next movie. And so like, this is now time for him to prove himself. Is he still that same soldier he used to be, or is he truly outdated? The problem is he's with a bunch of superheroes, and these superheroes don't like taking orders. So right from the start, they're not taking orders and they're screwing up. They screw up so badly that both Wasp, Hank, and Iron Man end up getting injured to the point where Iron Man can barely breathe through his helmet. Once they take that off, they realize he is Stark. And Captain America is beside himself. He failed in his first mission after like being resurrected. He now feels like not only is he outdated, but he's not the man he needs to be, and he gives up his shield. And he just kind of wallows in self-pity. Because now it's kind of like, who is he? Like I said before, he was a nobody before. And that serum made him into a somebody. Now that somebody came and do his mission. And there's a really gorgeous scene where Black Widow is trying to talk to him, and the wind is blowing, and they're standing outside in front of the Statue of Liberty, and her hair is just like rustling in the wind. And the animation is gorgeous on this. It must have took forever to animate that. By the way, the animation is amazing in this. The only problem I have with the animation is like the shadows. It looked like splotches of paint. I really don't like that. But other than that, the animation is amazing, and so is the action. And so, with the whole team disbanded, everybody is just like upset. We see Iron Man drinking, which is a nod to the Demon in the Bottle comic. We see Hank being rude to his wife, which is something also from the comics. But it's Banner who takes the most radical decision in all this. He decides, because he's being pressured with the super serum type stuff, what other people don't know is he wants to use it on himself. So, in like, when Fury and Betty are getting on him about it, he runs into like the Project Rebirth chamber and he administers Captain America's blood into him. It gives him control of the Hulk at first. Then the aliens attack. He's fighting the aliens and stuff. This is what brings the entire group together because they had disbanded. Because they realized what Fury was saying has come to fruition. Because this movie is very violent. Like when the aliens kill people, they straight up murder them and stuff. And so they get back, so they reassemble and they fight the aliens. Now Captain America is leading the team like he should, and they're actually listening to him. And the action, like I said before, is just great. I just wish it was longer. Then the problem happens. The Hulk is getting too happy and excited. He's killing a bunch of aliens. Captain America calls him Bruce, and of course, that's a huge trigger warning. You never call the Hulk Bruce. Now, I love this version of the Hulk. He's the old school screaming, hollering, idiot type Hulk, but now he has control of his thoughts until he turns savage. And then when he turns savage, he loses control and he's back to the hollering, screaming one. He whoops the crap out of the Avengers. And so now they have to take him on. And it's a huge, huge, huge battle. Captain America is able to hold his own for the most part, but the Hulk is too strong. And so in comes Thor, and we get this cool fight scene between him and Thor, which is, of course, also a nod to the Avengers movie. But then we see Hulk actually pick up his hammer slash axe. And it's like crazy because in the Ultimate one, he can only pick it up because of the belt. But this Hulk is a lot stronger. And so Captain America talking to Betty, he realizes that, they have to find a way to stop the Hulk and maybe they can use Bruce's medicine. So Betty goes and get that. She puts it in like a gun, like dart gun type thing. And Captain America has to be the one to shoot it into the Hulk, but he can't get a good beat on the dude because the dude's just bouncing around everywhere. And so like it's really to the point where he sees that Iron Man is in trouble, and like the soldier he is, he sacrifices his life to whoop on the Hulk. At some point, the Hulk busts open like the dart gun, and Black Widow has to be the one to stab it into his back. Betty calms him down, and then he turns back into Bruce Banner. Bruised and battered in the infirmary. It's so sweet and touching because Gail comes to visit him and stuff. Then the Avengers, they celebrate, the achievement that they have and stuff, while Bruce has been arrested. One thing about the Chitauri in this that I like is that they're made of vibranium, and it's so strong that the only thing that can penetrate their armor is more vibranium and stuff, or a nuclear blast. And so it's really hard for the Avengers to take them down in this because even if a building falls on them, they're totally fine and stuff. And, Captain America, he now sees that, he still has a purpose in this new world that's very strange and different to him until you get to the second movie when he goes through some really, really emotional stuff to where he's just going through the motions looking for a good death and everything. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.